Hi Dahlia, it's MerMaw. So I'm going to read you another book. The name of this one is called The Boss of the Barnyard and Other Stories. It's an old golden storybook. It was made before I was born. It's by Joan Hubbard and the pictures are by Richard Scarry. I wish I could tell you what year it was made, but I don't see it. 1949. So it was made in 1949, so the pictures are very old-timey pictures. And first we're going to read The Boss of the Barnyard. The little white rooster lived in a fine and tidy barn. He was proud of that barnyard too. "It's a dandy," he said, "and I want it to be better than any barnyard anywhere." So he rushed about seeing that everything was done just so. Show you the pictures. Okay. Thought I could turn it around, but I can't. There's the cow and the chicken and some eggs. He was a very busy, bossy little white rooster. He saw to it that the greedy chicks divided their food evenly. He counted the eggs that the hens laid. He spoke to the cow about more cream on the milk. He was very bossy, wasn't he? And he showed the bees where they could find the best flowers for honey. That busy little rooster even tried to hurry the sheep. "Grow your wool as fast as you can," he crowed. "Grow it thick and soft and don't get it dirty." He is very bossy, isn't he? And there he is bossing the sheep around. And there's the bees. And he's showing the bees which flowers are the best. You see the old-timey pictures? That little rooster kept everybody busy. And he was polite to everybody. All the animals in the barnyard were happy and contented. "He isn't really the boss," all the animals agreed, "but he's such a nice little rooster, and we'd like to do things for him." Are you having some tea? I'm having my tea with you, my nighttime tea. One day, the little rooster sat on the barnyard fence. "Everything is going just fine," he crowed happily. And just then, a big black rooster flew up and sat down beside him. See, I'll show you the picture. Let me see if I can do a better job. See the big black rooster that sat right beside him? Let's finish reading what it says. That black rooster was a stranger, but he was a friendly stranger. "A fine-looking barnyard you have here," he said. The little white rooster smiled very proudly. Then the big black rooster began to ask questions. So here they are having a little conversation. Do you see the old-timey picture of the roosters talking on the fence? "How many eggs do you get every day?" he asked. "One egg for each hen," cried the little white rooster. The big black rooster shook his head. "That's no good," he said. "In my own barnyard, I get 2 eggs for each hen. 2 eggs for each hen." Wow. He told the little white rooster great things about his barnyard. The little rooster was amazed. He said, My, he said, "Oh, dear me." He said, "Why, the very idea." Then he just listened and stared. At last, the big black rooster stopped bragging. "Well," he said, "that's the way I run things in my barnyard." And he strutted away, looking very proud. I think he's rude. The little white rooster blinked his eyes. He scratched his head. I'm going to hurry things up around here, he said to himself. What that big black rooster can do, I can do too. He thought he might even do better. First, he called all the baby chicks to him. You must eat more, he crowed, so you'll grow faster. Now let's look at these new pictures. So there he is, giving everybody at the barnyard their new instructions, I think. Let's read and see. Oh, goody, the chicks peeped with joy. We'll eat lots. Then he ran to see the hens. He asked them to lay 2 big eggs every single day. The hens thought that was a dandy idea. They hurried to the chicken coop and quickly sat on their nest. My goodness, they sure are trying to help. They're doing their part, aren't they? Look at these old-timey pictures. There's the cow. Oh, I think I see a little barn mice. And then there's the chickens. Let's go into their nest. So let's see what they're doing now. So far, so good, crowed the little rooster. He told the cows he wanted more milk. And the cow said, I'll see what I can do. But that gave the little white rooster another idea. If you could put milk in bottles instead of pails, he said, it would save lots of time. And before the puzzled cow had time to moo, he ran away. Oh, okay. Now for the sheep, said the little white rooster. He ran straight out to the pasture. Sheep, he said, do you know what your wool is for? Yes, cried the sheep. It's okay. It's keep... MerMaw messed up. It's to keep warm. That's right, the little white rooster said. And after it's sheared off you, it keeps other people warm. How? Asked the lamb. It's made into blankets, the little rooster told the sheep. Pink ones and blue ones and yellow ones and green ones. They're beautiful. The sheep looked very proud. Now, said the silly little rooster, was thinking, if you each eat a flower of different color, your wool should turn out different colors. Well, Dolly, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. That sounded wonderful to the sheep. I'll eat yellow buttercups, cried one of them. And I'll eat nothing but the blue morning glories, cried another. Pink clover for me, smiled Fluffy Lamb. And the old ram looked doubtful. I'll eat grass like always, he muttered. And if it makes my wool green, fine. If not, it's still tasty green grass. So this is the picture of all of them talking about this. Having their little meeting. So let's see what else they have to say. The little rooster didn't hear that. He was hurrying off to the beehives. Look here, beeves, he crowed. From now on, you'll have to make twice as much honey. He's being so demanding. The bees whispered together. They shrugged their shoulders. Well, asked the queen. They buzzed. Just tell her I said so, smiled the little rooster. So I'll show you the old-timey pictures. So there's the rooster, the white rooster, telling the bees what to do. See the bees buzzing? And there's the beehive. That's their home. That's where they make the honey. And he went away to bed, so excited that he could hardly wait for the morning. He was so excited. And the next morning, that little rooster was up early. He ran straight to the chicken coop. And I'll show you the pictures. This is him when he was going night-night. See the moon in the window? He's going night-night. And it looks like the little mouse is getting his bed too. And then there it is morning time. So let's see. But the fluffy chicks were all sick in bed. Their little tummies were all blown up like fuzzy balloons. We ate too much, they peeped. We feel awful. Oh dear, said the little rooster. I never thought of that. Then he looked in at the hens. How many eggs today? He asked cheerfully. The hens hung their heads. None, they said sadly. We got so tired trying to make 2 eggs yesterday that we couldn't even lay 1. Well, that didn't work, said the little white rooster, and he went to go see the cow. Let's look at the pictures together. See all the little baby chicks all just laying on the hay, worn out, tummies full. And then there's the sad little chickens feeling so sad they didn't get any eggs. I don't think he's going about this the right way. Do you think so, Dahlia? How many bottles, he asked of the cow. No bottles, the cow mooed. Moo. I have pails and pails of milk, but I couldn't get 1 drop into one of those bottles. Well, it is kind of silly. There's the cow, and there's the little bottles, and then there's the cans of milk, and they're all full. See the chickens in the background? There's a duck in the background, the hen house, the tree. So what's going to happen next, Dahlia? Now, the little white rooster was very sad. He thought of the sheep. He thought of pink and yellow and blue and green wool. That's a silly thing to think. All colors, he crowed softly, and thick and fluffy. They'll be beautiful. But the sheep were not all colors. They were just as white as ever. They were just, I was going to reread that part, sorry. We ate flowers just as you said, they bleated. Bah. But it didn't work. Try again, begged the little white rooster, and he dropped a big beakful of buttercups in front of the sheep. The old ram shook his head. That old ram is really smart, I think. Green grass is good enough for us, he said, and so is white wool. He looked very cross. White wool is very nice, agreed the white rooster, but his comb drooped and his tail feathers hung down. He went slowly to see the bees. Okay, let's look at this. So there's the rooster, and there he is dreaming of all the different color wool. And here's all the sheep, and they're still all white. Nothing changed. I wonder what's going to happen next, Dahlia. The bees were not buzzing. They were sitting on the steps of their hives. Oh, my goodness. What's wrong, girls? Asked the little white rooster. It's the queen bee, they said. She's as mad as a hornet. We said you wanted more honey, and she slammed the door in our faces. Now she won't let anybody in. The little white rooster walked away. Something's wrong, he muttered to himself. Very wrong. He thought and he thought and he thought. So this is the beehives, and there's all the bees sitting outside because the queen bee got upset. And then he's trying to figure out. So let's see what's going to happen next. I know what I'll do, he cried. I'll go and ask that big black rooster for some advice. And he flew straight to the big black rooster's barnyard. The big black rooster didn't see him. He was much too busy talking to all his friends. You should see the little white rooster's barnyard, he was saying. His hens lay an egg every single day. The black hens cackled. That must be a wonderful barnyard, they said. It is, crowed the black rooster. It's the finest barnyard I ever saw. This is a different story. The little white rooster didn't wait to hear any more. So that's it, he whispered to himself. That big black rooster just likes to brag. Well, I should have known better than to believe everything I hear. Isn't that the truth? Here, let's look at the pictures together. So there's the black rooster bragging to everybody at his barnyard about what happens at the white rooster's barnyard. And there's the white chicken listening. See him listening behind the water pail? He's just listening, but that other rooster didn't see him. Up popped his little red comb, bright and cheerful. He took his tail feathers merrily, shook, and then he flew swiftly back to his own barnyard. He hopped up on the fence and he crowed a loud, happy crow. All the animals in the barnyard looked up and listened. From now on, he crowed, you all do everything just as you always did it, as well as you know how to do it. No bottles, asked the cow. The little white rooster shook his head. No special colors, the sheep asked. No, crowed the little white rooster. White wool is perfect. The same old amount of honey, buzzed the bees. Yes, replied the rooster. Just one egg a day, cackled the hens. Just one, smiled the rooster. I think they're getting everything back the way it's supposed to be now. Can you see all the animals? There's the cow and the pig and the sheep and the ducks and the baby ducks and the hens, the bees. Do you see everything? Then everybody cheered. Everybody clapped and laughed. Ha 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 ha. Everybody in the whole tidy little barnyard they were all very happy. Hooray for the little white rooster, they cried. Hooray for the boss of the barnyard. The little white rooster flapped his wings. Flap, 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 flap. He looked all around the busy barnyard. By tomorrow, he thought, this old place will be running just as well as ever. Then he sharpened his spurs and he fluffed out his feathers. Just like that big black troublemaker. Come back, he said to himself bravely. Just let him say one word to me about this barnyard. And the little white rooster crowed a very dangerous sounding crow. Okay. So wonder what happens on the next page. And that's the end. I love you. I hope you liked it.